Welcome to my channel. I'm doing a past life reading with the most healing of aggression for codename Master 22. And you had a couple of not really special requests. You said that you just didn't want me to look at certain errors in history if you had lives in those errors. So I was lucky enough when I went into the records when I asked for the most healing of aggression to be shown this life, and I was like, it's not one of these specific lives, and I was shown no, it's not. So that was a good thing. So we were brought into 1744, and in this life I was brought into London, England. Now the first thing I saw was these busy streets, and I'm back in the era in London, which was fun for me to view. And I see these busy streets, and I see you well dressed in a very nice dress. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, is she rich? She looks well dressed. And I was feeling middle class, around the middle class in this era. And you were walking through the streets with like great determination with a letter in your hand. And everything kind of played back into the letters. So the theme of this life was very much of one where there was some corresponding going on. Now, of course, at first I was thinking, is there a love interest? Was this a corresponding? I was all interested in what's going on. And I wasn't feeling like it was a love interest, but more of friendships, family. So the letters were very important. Now, let me go back, and I kind of saw the whole letter transgression going on, the whole corresponding, everything that was being shown to me first, because that was like very important to you in this particular life. And so I had to go back and start pulling some more information. And I asked the masters, teachers, and loved ones what your name is. I got the name Amelia. You had two older sisters, one younger brother, and there was one sibling who had passed away. I think a baby brother had passed away. Not really sure, but I think it was like small child, like young, maybe sick, or maybe just like a crib death or something. It was very young, and it seemed kind of natural at that way too, and kind of heartbreaking as well for the family. So in this life, I was feeling like you felt like maybe there was like too many siblings, because when I asked about your own marriage and family life, I was being shown that you only had one child, one daughter, and you did not want to have any more kids. In fact, you weren't even sure you wanted to have kids before you actually had kids. You were like kind of hesitant, like, I don't really know if I want children. That's what everyone back in this day wanted, but you were a little bit different. You had different views. And I think it had something to do playing in with the brothers and sisters, and feeling like there was just so many brothers and sisters that no one got individual attention, and you were not feeling like you were heard as much. And I think that's what played into, as when you became a mother yourself, that you didn't want to have a lot of children, or was even hesitant to have children at that point. So I was going back on asking about the corresponding going on. The corresponding was between, I felt like, cousins, family members, friends that were in different like cities, or further away. But I don't feel like I felt like they were like people who just lived far, that were very close to you, and you got to visit every once in a while, or they came to visit every once in a while. And these letters were so important. I felt like in the letters you got to express who you were and have these deep, meaningful correspondings with each other, with people that you care about. And I felt like that these were the most important things to you, was self-expression, being able to express your deeper inner self, your deeper who you are, what you're thinking, all the wonderful things that were inside of you that you wanted to express to someone else who was also expressing back to you. And this corresponding was very important to you in your life. I felt like you wanted people to view your heart and express yourself more than outwards. So you felt in this life that what you were in the inside was so much more important than what your exterior showed. Like, you felt like if people could really just understand who you were, they could see the beauty of your soul. And I don't feel like you cared about all of the superficial things that people usually care about, like, looks and dressing up and wealth and all that stuff like that. You felt like the inner soul was the most important thing to show. And so this is the thing that the masters, teachers, and loved ones was playing on when they decided to show me this life. You were married, but you felt like your husband really didn't understand you, didn't really understand who you were on the inside. You felt like you couldn't really talk to him. It was like, I felt like he was a very quiet man. I didn't feel like there was any fighting. It was just like almost like nothing. It was just like so mundane, like you barely even had conversations with each other. And I think that that's why the letters were really more important to you, because you were able to express yourself with the people you really care about. And you felt almost like you were pushed into the marriage. You had to get married. Back then, it's like women had to get married, had to settle down. So that's something that it was just something that you had to do. It was just like a duty almost, and you felt like it was just a duty that you supplied. He was very quiet. He was very simple. He was not a bad person, but you just felt like he didn't really understand you. And so when I asked the masters, teachers, and loved ones why they decided to show me this particular life, they said that there was no healing of aggression in this life. They just want you to understand this life that you lived, because this is going to give you a deeper meaning for who you are in this life. Like you now like an understanding, like, oh, I understand a little bit more. So a deeper meaning for conversations and connections to play a theme into this life, and it will help you understand yourself for seeking some type of inner peace. And in this life, these close connections that you had, these letters were just, I can't express how important, because that was like the huge theme when I was seeing in this life. So I wanted to get your last name. And so when I asked your last name, the first name I heard was Lockhart. And then I heard another name, Pennington. And so I did come out of the records and Googled Lockhart and Pennington. Both of them are English tied, or English surname ties. Lockhart was a tie, does have some Scottish tie and English tie. And both Pennington and Lockhart both come from the Lancashire origin, which is interesting because they're both in the same origin of the Lancashire origin for English surnames. But Lockhart also has some Scottish in there too. So you might have some in that past life. Either, I'm not sure if it was you or your husband, but I was hearing both surnames. So it could be that that both of these, it could be one of them's a husband, one of them your maiden. And I don't know which one was which. I was just getting those two names. So that's what sometimes I don't get all the information. It's just so much information to get that I just kind of pull certain informations that I can get, because I can't stay in there for 10 hours getting everything. So hope that makes sense. So we were able to get those names. And again, Amelia, the name Amelia. And I also see how important tea time was, some kind of tea time during that time. I was seeing a little tea going on with your family. I think maybe that's a time where you actually got to sit down and talk with friends or family members, was during those times. And I, also too, about the writing, you enjoyed writing a lot, writing your letters, writing, having this close connection. I asked if there was anything else that you like to do, and you did learn music, and I saw you with piano, and also in this past life, you did compose a little bit of music yourself. So I hope that this all makes sense to you and your current life. And thank you for allowing me to be blessed to enter your records and giving me that blessing to be able to view this for you. And I hope you have a beautiful day or evening when you view this.